your paradise, the place you long for all your life. University, manifesting all your dreams. With paradise, your land is home. Writing contracts on your own. Protect your loved ones every day. Knowledge goes a long, long way. University for me. UNA University for me.
Yes. Welcome everybody. Glad to have you. Yours truly, Diva Laree, representing for UNA and UNARepublic. Yes. UNA. Yeah. All right. What? Vibratory frequency chart. Welcome everybody. So glad to have you. So glad to be here. Now, I just want to make this clear. This is a test of the Diva Laree broadcasting system. This is only a test, but we're gonna have some fun today. Basically, what I'm doing, I have one of my wonderful team members who is doing some work for me. We got to switch some things up, so we have to run a test to make sure we're broadcasting on all of our platforms and we're doing it in good order and good fashion. So this is a test, and I decided, I'm gonna just take it easy today and talk a little bit about some things that I haven't talked about in a while. All right. So we're going to be talking today. You'll see the topic is your metabolism community. Now, this is just a test. We're just having a little bit of fun. And I hope you all enjoy it and appreciate the information. I'm just going to give you some information on my journey that I've learned on my journey. And I hope that you find it well. Your metabolism community, okay? Y'all know I want to get into some shop, if you will, some talk about the membership trust package. So those of y'all who are interested in the membership trust package, find us at UNARepublic, UNA University. All right, UNAuniversity.com. You can find us if you want to leave a message in the inbox. Leave your name, number, email. Name, number, email. Leave that so we can invite you to our workshop. And you can get this membership trust package. You can see all the products and services that we offer here with UNA. Now, what is UNA? Before I move any further, first of all, I'm yours truly, Diva Laree, representing with UNARepublic, UNA University, where we help people find their social freedom, their financial freedom, and most importantly, your spiritual freedom. This is what we do here, and it starts right here with this trust, okay? So what is the trust? For those of y'all who don't know, this trust, it is making sure you take full control and ownership of your all capital letter corporation. All right. Some of y'all might know of it as a straw man. Some of y'all might know of it as an ins legas and all these other names they have for it. But basically, you taking control of your name that your mama gave you. Okay, so it comes with the membership badge. It comes with this is the membership badge here. It comes with the allodial ID. It comes with your sealed documents for your trust. Okay, so you can get this. Find the link in the bio or leave your name, number, and email. Also, we want to talk to you real quick about the UNA University Beginner Law Book. All right, this is the beginner law book. Now, in this book, there are all of these wonderful, wonderful elements that I'm going to show you. One of them is the hierarchy of law chart. Listen, I talk about this hierarchy of law all the time. You want to get this so you understand where you stand with respect to these agents and the system that you're in. It comes with the universal laws chart. These are the highest laws that Diva LaRue knows about. Now, there's some other laws, some other cosmic laws I might not know about, but these right here are constantly at work. So you want to get these laws. Also, the vibratory frequency chart. Okay, very important. As well as, this is a newer chart here, the civilization cycle and the societal totem pole. Very great to have in here. The beginner law book. So all of these, with the exception of the societal totem pole, are in this law book, as well as the maxims of law. The maxims of law are very high. They're known as God's law. You want to have these as well. Okay. So this is the beginner law book. If you want this, you can get it in the ebook format, or you can get it in the physical form. Okay, so make sure you get that. Check us out. Also, we're going to send you the information for that if you leave your information in the inbox. Okay, so real quick, briefly, about our membership packages. Okay, this is the Awakened. Only $10. All right, this comes with, we're going to send you links every week where we're making sure you're staying inspired. You got to be inspired in this life. So we get the inspirational messages, and this is a great package to have because we want to be able to reach out to you and just make sure you're doing all right throughout your week. All right, also comes with your discounted consultations. This is a great package. Also, you have the next package is called Transcendence. Now, this is only $30. This one comes with personalized inspirational messages, okay? We're going to say your name. You're like, say your name, say your name. We're going to say your name, all right? So make sure if you're interested in this, get the $30 package. Also, it comes with video for you every month where you can see some of the private sessions that we have, okay? So this is a great session to have. Also, this is going to get you a discount on any kind of consultations you might need, and it's going to give you access to the personalized audio. All right, so not only the inspirational messages, but they're personalized, okay? So also Luminosity. All right, this is $100 per month package. This is a great package to have. It comes with everything in the previous package. Also, it's going to have the opportunity for you to be a part of our Monday sessions. So you can get in here and get yourself acclimated to becoming a full-time student with UNA. Also, if you have any kind of need for consultations or legal advice, we can help you with that. And also your consultations are reduced with this. So this is a great package, all right? We'd love to have you be a part of the UNA University, okay? So we want to get you acclimated to that. Okay, so now, with all that being said, let's get into it, okay? We're talking about your metabolism community. So why did I want to speak on this? I get a lot of people who ask me, what do you eat and how do you eat and what's going on? Okay, so I want to just go into some things about what I've had to learn on my journey and why I do certain things. So for me, and please listen up, peoples, I'm not telling you to do this. I'm telling you what Diva LaRee does. Don't do what I do. You got to take your time and move into whatever you're trying to do. So whenever you're making a decision about what you're doing with your eating habits, you need to take your time. You need to be clear on what your goal is. And then if you decide to do it, you move into it. Okay. So I need to preface this, everything that I say, so that you understand, you don't go and do something that I'm not saying to do. Okay. So for me, I eat, 3 times a week. So I'll eat, Mondays, or actually Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then Sunday normally. So, and it took me time to get there. Where am I going? Okay. For me, at some point, I look to be a breatharian, but what I have to do is learn to be disciplined. All right. So I'm eating Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Why is that? Because of the research that I have done. So before I started out in this path, I was very much clear about where I cared to be. And so once you start on this path, this is not a path that you get to, I'm going to stop eating for 20 days and 20 nights and we just don't stop. No, that's not how it works. All right. So I had to take time. It took me time to get to this point, and it takes a lot of discipline. All right. And so that's the thing that you have to develop. So it's not about, for me, it's not about weight, because as long as I eat properly and I eat right, the weight is going to stay off. All right. I don't really have that problem. I do have some habits that I have to cut. We might get into that tonight. But for the most part, I really don't have that issue with weight. My issue is with making sure that I am disciplined in what I do. So I'll talk a little bit about my discipline. When I eat between a 6-hour period. So I'm eating on Tuesday. I might start eating around after 5 o'clock, and then I'm going to eat, whatever I decide. And there's a limit to what I decide, but I'll eat from that point until 12 midnight. And that's for me. And so let me say this also. My sleeping habits are different than the average person, okay? So for me, I wake up later and I go to bed later. All right, I won't talk about what time, because I don't want to hear y'all like, you go to bed at what time? Okay. But for me, just like everything I do is different, okay? The way I eat is different. The way I operate during the day is different. It's just different. So I'm not telling you to do what I do. You got to incorporate whatever you decide, whatever you research into your own routine. All right. So what do I eat during that time? I eat a lot of salad. So in my salad, I'm eating lettuce, cucumber, garlic. What else do I eat? Olives. Love olives. I'm eating avocado. And then I got some cheese in there. That'd be one of my habits. Then I eat peanuts. I eat the boiled peanuts. They work well with my system. And I'll eat every now and then I will do some sardines. So I try to stay away from meat for a spiritual reason as well as a physical reason. Okay. But, I will do the sardines because I want to make sure that there's certain things that I get in my diet, because the food doesn't carry it all. And I don't really do a lot of supplements. I had tried to do that, but if it doesn't work well with my system, I'm going to stop doing it. So you got to learn, by the way, that's one of the things you have to learn, what works well with your system and what doesn't. Okay. So it's important to, once again, know and be aware of what it is you're looking to do before you start. Don't just jump in and because I don't like to tell people how I eat, because then they think that that's what they're supposed to do, or they'll hear me say something and they go, well, Diva said we're not supposed to be eating food. Food is not good for. I didn't say that. I never said that. But then somebody will take it as though I said that. And people said we're supposed to starve ourselves. I didn't say that. What I'm saying to you is that you've got to know, first of all, I've done a lot of research. And because of the research that I've done, I'm confident in whatever I put into play in my everyday life. I'm confident that it's going to work. All right. And then when I put it into play, and if it's not working for me, then I'm going to change it. All right. Now, but when you make the step to do certain things, and I'm going to get into this talking about fasting because that's a big deal. When you put it into play, this is not something whereby you just do it and then stop doing it and it's going to be okay. No, that's not, because you got to recognize that you have a community within you. That's why this topic today is called Your Metabolism Community. So we're going to talk about the community within you and how it works, so that when you decide to make a move concerning what you're eating in your everyday life, you are doing it with your community that's within you in mind. I want to welcome everybody to the house. Genesis Jen, welcome. Elle, welcome. Who else is in the house? All my people on TikTok, welcome. One side chick, one stick chick. What's up? What's up? All my people on TikTok, I want you to make some noise so I know you're in the house. And I want to say thank you for joining. Let's see. Thank you for joining and being with us, okay? So, Arlene L., welcome. So we're getting into this about metabolism. And I told you guys, this was a test. This is just a test. And so I want to come on and talk about some things that I haven't talked about in a long time. And I haven't, I tend to not talk about because I don't want to get people to the point where they're doing things and they're not doing their own research and they're not paying attention. So, but we're talking about the metabolism community within you. And I've just explained, how I eat, what I eat. Also getting back to what I eat. Now, I drink a lot of water. As a matter of fact, that's all I drink is water. I don't drink Kool-Aid. Don't mess with, sugars. Not like that, where I'm putting that stuff in drinks, Cokes and stuff like that. That does not go in my system. Now, let me talk about, before I go into that, one of the other things that I do is yogurt. The reason why I started doing yogurt is because yogurt has certain proteins in it that are supposed to be good for your system. And the other thing is, when I have learn how foods or how my body reacts to foods. So when I introduce something to my eating meals or what have you, then I'm making sure that I'm clear on that new thing and how my body is responding to it. So if my body is holding on to it in some kind of way, or I'm feeling some kind, like there's certain things that I just cannot eat. I love spinach. Spinach, though, is hybrid. Now, my body does not respond well to hybrid foods, and that is because of the way that I have been eating. All right. So some things my body won't give me issues with, but some things will if it's hybrid. Like, for example, and a lot of people think, well, if it's growing the ground, it came from God, and it's the best thing. It's like, what? Okay, that's not what your body is saying. So I talked about this in a previous session, and that is that your body is going to embrace things that are natural to the planet. And if it's not natural to the planet, then your body is going to fight it. And so when it comes to, 1 second, my little phone over here is not happy. But when it comes to hybrid things, my body lets me know pretty quickly. So, I like, what's those apricots? It's like a cross between a peach and a cross between a peach and a plum. I think that's what it is. Okay, my body is like, no. Why? Because it's hybrid. Well, what's wrong with hybrid foods? Anytime you're dealing with a hybrid food, it's acidic. So what happens is, and I'm going to go through this real quick and I'm going to get into the metabolism. When man decides, or woman, or whomever it is, decides to mix these different plants and fruits or vegetables, when you do that, you create a being or an entity that is no longer natural. So if it's not natural, then it's going to be acidic. It's going to be an acidic entity. And so with that, when you go and put it in your body, once again, it's not natural. And so your body is going to fight it. Let me rephrase it. My body is going to fight it. I don't know what your body might love it. I know, but normally with normal bodies and vessels, especially when you're a quote unquote human being, if there's something that is not natural to the planet, then your body is going to fight it. And when you're talking about hybrid beings, you're talking about an acidic being. They might be delicious, but your body is going to have issues. Okay, so that's one of the things in understanding that. So when it comes to hybrid foods, I tend to stay away, tend to back off. There's some things that I didn't name that I tend to stay away from in my salads: tomatoes and onions. Tomatoes, while they might not be hybrid, they got I call them agents. And I want y'all to pay attention to this when you're eating. Don't be mad at me, okay? Don't be mad at me, but I'm just getting ready to give you a little heads up. And you can look this up for yourself. Tomatoes, they have agents in them, meaning that, well, they got some things in them, living beings. I'm gonna just say it like that. Okay, so you ever had a situation where you have a whole bunch of fruit flies in your trash can, or maybe you cut up some tomatoes and you threw them in, or whatever, you got some fruit flies. Just, what is fruit flies? What are these fruit flies? Okay, they don't just pop up out of nowhere. All right, you know you didn't leave your front door and your back door open and you screamed. You know that some kind of way, where did these flies come from? Well, they was agents already in the tomatoes. This is what they don't tell you about. How did I find out about this? And once again, it's because of the way I eat and when I fast. Because I fast so much, when I cut things out of my diet, I, again, know how my body responds to things. I kept having this mucus issue when I was eating, tomatoes and what have you. All right. Now, I need y'all to know, I just had a couple of days ago, I said, hey, you know what? I want a pizza. So I broke down. I normally don't have a pizza, but you'll hear like I have a stuffiness now. That's because I ate something that I normally don't eat. All right. So that's why I have to be very careful about anything I'm putting in my system, because my system is going to be very much responsive. I ate that. It was, what was it? Sunday. And it's still affecting me from then. So that's why I'm very careful about what I put in my system. That's why I was like, let me do this, because, I need to go through this, and I haven't done it in a while. But at any rate, I stopped eating tomatoes and lettuce because I was trying to find out what it was that was causing these issues. And when I cut the lettuce and tomato out, it went away. And then when I brought lettuce back, and I was like, okay, I'm still good, no problems. Then I brought the tomatoes back, and then the issue came up, and then I saw those fruit flies. And then I did some research. And it was funny because I was talking to my sister about it, and I said, she was talking to me about how we were going to have this family reunion, and she said, you want the tomatoes in there, the lettuce, the salad? I was like, no, don't put any tomatoes in my salad. And she said, well, why you don't like tomatoes? I said, tomatoes they the demons. That's what I said to her. I said, they got agents in them. And then I started telling her about the fruit flies or what have you. So she looks it up, and it was talking about how these flies will lay their eggs on the tomato, and some kind of way they get inside of the tomato. And basically I'm saying, well, I told you that. Now, those fruit flies don't just pop up out of nowhere. They're there because something laid them there. And so when you're eating it, that's why I was getting that. And you can see things, oh, okay, it's gross. That's why I said don't be mad at me. But I'm just letting you know, so you do your own research so you'll know for yourself, and you can determine whether you want tomatoes in your salad or not. Okay. Now, here's the other thing. Let me get on this, the fasting. So the way that I had to learn how to start doing fasting, it was a gradual one, just overnight where I'm just, I'm on 3 times a week. It wasn't easy, and I had to have a large amount of discipline. I've been doing this for over 10 years now, getting to this point. All right, so I want to go into this about fasting and what it is and what it does. So when we're talking about the metabolism community within you, okay, you got to recognize that inside of you there are factories, all these factories, and they got a job to do. Now, normally, if you were not eating, which we don't really need to eat, but I'm not going into that. We don't really need to eat, but I'm not going into that. But here's the deal. Your cells really have a normal phase, and they call it autophagy. I call it cell management. And that is where your cells, they're normally going through your vessel and finding the old cells and removing them and replacing them with new cells. All right. In your ovaries, women and brothers, in your ovaries that they call scrotum, you have these things called stem cells. All right. Well, when your body is in its normal cell management phase, it's going to use those stem cells to replace old cells. All right. But because we eat so much and we've been taught to eat so much, your body does not go into cell management mode, which is why we don't have the longevity of life that our biblical ancestors had. Now, we're like, well, what? How Methuselah lived for 900 years? That's not possible. Well, that's not the case. The issue is, notice how in the Bible, they always fasting, fast. You have to fast, fasting, fast. And they never told you about what fasting is. Well, I'm here to tell you what it is. When your body goes into cell management mode, then it's constantly replacing the old with the new cells. But because you're eating, you're keeping your body in war mode, meaning you're constantly keeping things coming into your body, and your body is fighting. It's like, mashed potatoes. All right, we gotta, everybody get together down there in the gut section because they're coming. So you got mashed potatoes and all these other things coming into your system, and your body has to fight it. So instead of being in cell management mode, it's in garbage placement mode, whereas I got to take this and digest it and figure out where to get the nutrients from and then put it into this section. And all right. So once you get your body into a mode where it's not fighting, it's not constantly at war, not constantly trying to break down the garbage that you're putting into it, well, then that's when you go into the cell management phase. But when does that happen? Well, that happens after 72 hours. 72 hours is when your body now can get to the point of, okay, we don't have nothing coming down. Oh, okay. All right, we're going to start managing, find the old cells and replace them with the new cells. That's after 72 hours, according to my research. All right. Why is fasting so important? Well, fasting gives you, once again, that longevity of life. So one of the things that in my research that I found is that when they do lab testing on the mice and they talk about how they feed this rat, once every 3 days, and they fed this one 3 times a day, and this one over here that fasted, well, he lived 3 times longer than the ones over here that they fed 3 times a day. So one of the things I'm trying to make it clear is that because you're eating so much, your body's staying in war mode. Well, you don't have time. Your body never has time to replace the old cells. So the issue is that we've got to start recognizing that, first of all, what we've been told is wrong. I mean, we're fortunate that somebody has come to us and said, hey, that whole pyramid thing with the top down and the bread and the cheeses and the milk and all that, that's wrong. Somebody informed us of that. Now, when they're telling you to eat 3 times a day, well, okay, we got to get into understanding that we're not supposed to be eating that many times a day. But that's me telling you what my research shows is that if you really wanted to have longevity, then stop eating so much. Here's the other thing. When you're eating, you're allowing certain agents to come in you. So for me, I ate this pizza and it's gotten me really jacked up right now to where, it's affecting me, my breathing, it's affecting, my health. And that's because I ate one pizza. And so what I'm saying is when you are eating, you're allowing agents in your system. And you got to be careful about what agents you're allowing into your system because it affects your health, not only in the short term, but in the long term. Now, I know my body's going to fight. It's already fighting. And I'm going to, as far as dealing with this, my body's already handling it. But here's the deal. If you're doing that over a prolonged period of time, well, imagine the effects that has on your health, all right? I was just asking the universe for you to do a video on diet, and then here this is. That's because you be manifesting. You be manifesting over there, Genesis. Once again, giving a shout out to all my people in TikTok and YouTube. Hello, Zeke. Zeke just got the #1 gifter badge. Thank you, Zeke, for the love. Thank you, one chick. Okay. So now, just getting back to this, all right, just understanding that you want to be careful about the things you're putting in your system. Pizza is something I'll have like once a year, all right? For whatever reason, I was like, I got to have me some Papa John's. So I ordered that. But that's not something you want to be doing on a regular. And you want to pay attention to how your body reacts to it. I'm clear that if I don't have another pizza in the next 3 years, I'd be just fine. All right. So, because I don't care for this kind of energy in my system. I'm, sniffling or what have you. So here's the deal. Let's go into this. Okay. Fasting. For me, one of the things that I had to learn to do is when I was eating 3 times, 4 times. Actually, let me go back because at one point I had gained a little bit of weight. I was at 140, and I was having a problem performing on stage. I was like, no, we can't have this. I can't even move around on stage. Because, by the way, I was an entertainer, so I sang and rap or what have you. But yeah, I couldn't move around, so I had to figure out what's going on because I was eating too many carbs. I didn't recognize what carbs were at that time. I didn't know, what meats do and all. I was clueless, but I knew I was gaining weight and I had to figure out what was going on. So I came across what was called the Atkins diet. I think they call it the carnivore diet now. It's very similar to that, where you just only eat meats. And so let's understand that, people say, well, the meat make me fat because I be eating the chicken and the meat doesn't make you fat. And I can say that because I've been through it. All right. When I was gaining all that weight, what I turned around and started doing is said, you eat all meats and you can eat some vegetables, some greens. Like I was eating broccoli, or at that time I would eat spinach or what have you. But you could eat meat and broccoli, so or greens. And it didn't matter what kind of meat, because I was like, oh, chicken, ribs, pork, bacon. I didn't care. Pig booty, pig toes, pig, because I ate all that. I loved it. All right. Beef, I ate all of it. And it didn't matter if it was fried or broiled or boiled. It didn't matter. I'm eating it. It's meat. And so I lost a lot of weight, and I lost it quickly. All right. But there are other issues that come with me. What happened was I started, my blood pressure started to go up. I had, and it was interesting because my mother also had high blood pressure. I remember this was around the same time. My mother's legs would blow up, and she said, okay, well, I got to go to the hospital, find out what's going on. So she went to the hospital, and she found out she had high blood pressure. And I was like, I said, well, how long you have to take that medication? She said, for the rest of my life. I was like, well, no, that's not going to be me. I'm going to figure this out, because I won't be taking no medication for the rest of my life. So I was eating at that time, like I said, a lot of meat. I was eating a lot of, I love country ham. I'd be eating that, what's the name of that, Waffle House? I love me some country ham. So I decided that what I was going to do was to understand, now that I had gotten my weight down. I had lost a lot of weight, but now I'm having an issue with the blood pressure. So what ended up happening is I started doing this whole research on what meats do to the body. Okay. In my research, and this is what I found. Now, I need y'all to understand, even at this phase, I had started on a spiritual journey, and I didn't recognize it. I didn't know that I was going through a spiritual journey. But I say that because every time I would do some research on whatever, it didn't matter what it is, it would always lead me back to the Bible. Always. It was just like I could be researching on monetary policy, and I'm ended up back at why is the Bible in it? What? Well, Genesis 1:33. I was like, what is this? Okay, so, but anyway, I'm noticing as I'm researching on meats and what they do to the body, in particular pork, it leads me back to the Bible where it's talking about don't eat this and don't eat that. And so I started reading these laws. And it's talking about to eat foods with seeds, and don't eat pork because it is unclean. Don't eat shrimp because it is unclean. And I'm like, well, I don't like what that's saying, because I like pork. I like bacon. And so I wasn't planning on, using any of that information, because I'm like, look, I like what I like. That's good. Okay, Bible, that's great. So, and no, I wasn't into religion, and I've never been religious, and I wasn't trying to listen to what this said over here, because I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm gonna eat my pork. But what I started doing is I bought this machine so that I can start measuring my blood pressure, because actually I used to go all the time. I go into Kroger, some of y'all in the grocery store, and I test my blood pressure on the little blood pressure monitor or what have you, and just to see it, and I could see it building. So this is what happened. I remember I was checking my blood pressure one day, and it was okay, you are okay, you almost pre-hypertension. And I'm starting to get aggravated. I'm anxious because I'm like, I want to get my health right. I got my weight right, and then now I got this blood pressure thing. So then I go and I go to one of my favorite places, Waffle House. Used to be, I don't eat there anymore. But and I got a country ham. Ate the country ham, and then I checked my blood pressure the next day, and it was sky high. It was in the red. And then I recognized what it was. And so anytime I would, I was checking constantly. Anytime I'd eat meat, I'd check my blood pressure and see what it is that's causing it. If I go out and eat some shrimp, I'm checking my blood. This is why they tell you to keep a diary, so that you can be aware of once again, as I said from the beginning, how your body reacts to certain foods. 'Cause everybody's body is going to be different. All right. So this is why when you keep your diary and you're being cognizant of, okay, well, this day my blood pressure was high and this day my blood pressure was lower. What did I eat? This is why you keep that diary. Okay. So what I started to find is pork and shrimp caused me to have high blood pressure. And I had to go back to the Bible. And I was like, well, how do they know? How they know? Who wrote these things in this book that's talking about don't eat shrimp, don't eat pork? Okay, so just it'll come back around with respect to the Bible. So at any rate, again, now I'm starting to recognize and understand, okay, all right, I got to get certain things in habit, cut certain things out of my diet. I stop eating the pork, stop eating, of course, fried food. The other thing is you're going, the whole, what they call this, donut roll around here. All right, that comes from carbs. And I talked about carbs earlier. But and I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into carbs, but let me finish on the meat thing. The meat, again, it doesn't cause you to be fat, because what's going to happen with your body is your body is going to break down that meat quicker than it does carbs. So here's the rule of thumb. When you're eating meat, normally it's going to take your body about 4 hours to break that down. 4 hours, right? It really doesn't matter how much. Now they say, well, the portions or whatever. Okay. But it really doesn't matter how much. If you're eating a regular size or a small size, it's going to take about 4 hours to break that down. So if you eat the meats with greens, 4 hours, all right? If you're just eating carbs by themselves, looking at about 4 hours, okay? If you're eating fruits break down much faster. This is why they tell you when you're eating any fruits that you should eat that before the meal, because when it breaks down, then it starts to ferment. So if you go and you eat, let's say, a steak, and then you come behind it with some fruit, all right, that steak is going to take 4 hours to digest. But then this fruit is ready to go after about 25, 30 minutes. It's ready to get out your body. But no, it's sitting there on top of this because it's got to wait in line. Your community is in there breaking down the meat. It's got to wait. So this meat is here, but now you got this fruit in here and it starts to ferment inside your stomach. Okay, well, now you're going to have digestive issues. You got gas, you got bloating, because you should have eaten this first so it can be down here, it can be out of your system, and then the meat could start to do what it needs to do. All right. Okay, so that's fruits. Now, if y'all feel like, well, I got to have my fruit for dessert, well, do you. But I'm just letting you know, when you're in bed and you got the bubble guts, it's because you didn't eat that fruit first. Okay. Now, when you have meat and you have carbohydrates and you combine them together, or you're talking about 6 to 8 hours. And really, 6 hours is really, that's rare. You're looking at 8 hours just to digest that. The fruit, the fat, the meat, and the carbohydrates, 6 to 8 hours. Now, watch this. And y'all understand why you're not doing your system justice with the way that you eat. Y'all know the way we have been taught to eat. You gotta have grits and eggs and bacon and toast and butter it, whatever, and this and that, all these things you have it. And I gotta have some juice. All this stuff that you've put in your system. This is 8 hours. Let's say you eat at 8 o'clock in the morning. And again, your body needs 8 hours just to finish what you ate for breakfast. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. By 1 o'clock, you're ready to eat again. It's not even 5 hours. But you want to go and eat something because I was hungry. Okay. Meanwhile, your body has not digested what you ate up here. Then you go and put another, what you eating for lunch? I'm gonna eat some cheese toast and some nuggets and some whatever else you feel like you want to put on top of that. And you know it's meat and carbs. That's another 6 to 8 hours. And you haven't even let the first meal digest. So where we at? 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. By 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, you ready to eat. That's only 7 hours. It didn't even finish the first one. You know the second one is not finished yet. But you're ready to eat by 6 or 7. So you add another load of meat and carbohydrates. All right. And at least you might get another 10 hours to fast while you're asleep. If you're lucky, because some of y'all are what I call tiptoers. You be tipping in the kitchen in the middle of the night at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. You be tiptoeing. I know it, because I know how y'all be doing. All right. So understand this now. You constantly kept your body fighting, in fighting mode, where it's constantly, well, you wake up putting garbage down. Now, then you put another set of garbage in it during lunch. Then you put another set of garbage at night. Then you're going to give, hopefully, if you're not tipping, which a lot of y'all are tippers, you're going to put another set of garbage in your vessel. All right. So you wake up in the morning, and this is why they call it breakfast, or you're breaking a fast, breakfast. All right, because you've been fasting overnight. I mean, listen, fast is it's in your everyday life. Oh, breakfast. And we didn't even recognize it. Well, that's why the Bible is constantly talking about fasting, because that's what's going to keep you alive. Stop eating so much. All right, so you wake up, you have breakfast again, and then here you go, starting right back over, and you barely giving your body the opportunity to get rid of the things you put in it the day before, but you're coming in the next day and doing even worse. And then some of y'all are eating 4 and 5 times a day. Now, when you on that carnivore diet, you gonna want to eat 4 or 5 times a day, because you're gonna stay hungry. Even you can eat all the meat you want, all the vegetables, you're gonna stay hungry. So let me say this. I'm not saying to do the carnivore diet or not, but this is what I am saying. If you're doing that carnivore diet, the suggestion is that you're eating 5 times a day. Small meals. It doesn't matter how much you eat. You're gonna burn some stuff, and you're gonna stay hungry, because that's, for whatever reason, again, 4 hours is all it takes for your body to digest the meats. The issue comes when you throw in those carbohydrates. Now it's going to take longer. Okay, so if you're eating 5 times a day, you got a super hyper metabolism. Your community is in there working, and they got all kind of factories set up in here so we can digest this meat. All right. Now, here's what needs to happen. If you're doing that, you want to make sure that, you're eating, and because you're going to be hungry. All right. Now, you're going to have a, what do we say? You're going to have a taste for sweets. The thing on that carnivore diet is to keep your carbohydrates down. All right. So when I was doing the carnivore diet, it was at that time, it was the Atkins diet, where basically I just ate a lot of meat. So what you want to do, I had to find some kind of substitutes. And there are these very low calorie popsicles. that they had in the store. Like they had different flavors, orange and grape or whatever. And I buy a box of those, and you can eat several of those throughout the day and still stay within the carbohydrates. I'm trying to see if I can find them. But yeah, you can still do that throughout the day and stay within because sometimes they'll have like 6 carbs. All right, so let me see if I can find them on my images. Yeah, here they go, right here. Put this up on the screen for me. Right, so these right here, the orange and cherry and grape, I keep a box of these so that if I have some kind of craving for sweets or anything like that, I would keep those in there and they would do me great. All right, there they go. So get you some of those. If you're just in a situation where you're just trying to lose, if you're just in a situation where you're just trying to lose weight real quick, all right, thank you for that. Then get you some of those if you're on that carnivore diet or, all meat diet or what have you, and then make sure you keep your greens in there. All right. So now, the next thing with this, as far as that's dealing with the all meat diet. Okay, just something so you'll know. And then what you want to learn to do on that is start to come down where it's not 5 meals a day. You want to start learning, get some discipline, such that you don't have you're not just eating all the time. All right. If you are a tipper, get some discipline and respect your body so that you can give it time to rest. You've been eating all day. All right. Get some discipline. Now I need to get on these carbs because people want to act like you can't see what's going on with their vessel. I've had people who will be in my face and go, you know what? I eat well. I eat plant-based diet. And I don't know what kind of plants you're eating, but your body said you're eating a lot of carbohydrates. It's going to show up right here. All right. So you can tell me all you want to. I need it to be made clear that your community speaks. You have a community within your body, and it's speaking loud and clear when I see this. Carbohydrates. That's what this is. So don't tell me it's the meats and no, you was mixing the carbohydrates with the meat. The meats wasn't the problem. It's the other stuff you put with the meats. Now the meat's gonna cause you some other physical ailments. But this right here, this carbohydrates. I just want to make that clear. So if anybody's coming with I'm gonna eat a plant-based, okay, tell it to somebody who doesn't know. All right. So I want to get into more of the fasting and how we get into it. It is not a situation, because I've had, several of my friends who, plus size, we just say it like that. And they'll say, well, you know what? I'm going to just stop eating for 20 days. Why? Why would you do that? Do you not understand your community is going to really jack you up? So let me be clear about the community and how the community within you, your metabolism community, works. All right? They are living beings within you. And they are very attentive to what is coming in to the system. And so if you are not eating, or if you stop eating, what happens is your metabolism slows down. So unlike the people who are on the carnivore diet, who are eating 5 times a day, who have a fast metabolism because they've trained it like that. When you're eating like that, your body's going to work to get rid of it. Because it's like, we got some more food coming. We know we got food coming, so we're going to just eat and then let it go. We're going to eat it and then let it go. But when you don't eat, then what happens is your metabolism holds on to the food that you do eventually put in it. So my metabolism has slowed down a lot because I'm only eating 3 times a week. So yeah, you know my metabolism. So the reason why I rarely speak on it is because this is a serious commitment. You don't just go, okay, well, I'm gonna not eat and then expect for your body to not respond adversely. All right. Because I've seen situations where people have gone on these type of diets where they're fasting and then they decide, well, you know what? I don't want to fast no more. And then they complain about how they gain weight much faster. And they all had metabolic damage. No, you didn't have metabolic damage. What you had was a metabolism that was responding to the way you were eating. So when you're eating like that, or you stop eating, then your metabolism is now going to be inclined to hold on to everything it gets. So that if you decide to come off of this diet and okay, I'm gonna start eating everything, I'm gonna gain weight faster is what you're ready to do. You're gonna gain weight because your metabolism is not used to letting it go. So that's why when you get on when you make this commitment, it needs to be a serious commitment and not just doing it just because I heard somebody say it and it sounds like it's a fun thing to do. No, you're going to make a commitment and your body is going to respond in kind. Okay, so before you decide you want to do it, I'm making it clear of what's about to happen to your metabolism so that when you decide you're going to pull back on your eating, you understand that you don't want to just take off and do something different because you're going to have a hurt. I want to go into this real quick and then I'm going to get into how we get in you increase your fasting. All right. There's a woman who she's not in the Americas, but she hasn't eaten for over 15 years. And I remember these guys went out and did an interview with her. And so what ended up happening is they were asking her, well, do you think if you were to eat that you would get sick? And now she just decided she wanted to stop eating when she was maybe a teenager or whatever, however old she was. But, she's an adult now and it's been over 12 years and she's never had anything to eat. She doesn't use the bathroom. She doesn't have anything like that because nothing's going in, then nothing comes out. So I need to be made clear. She doesn't have any factories. She got a community in there, but there's no factories. So if she were to eat, she absolutely would get sick because there's nothing to process it. If you do any research on people who have chosen not to eat or who stop eating like that, what you find is that the organs, the internal organs, they tend to go away. They dissolve because you don't need them if you're not using them. You know how they say if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. So it's just like when I slow my metabolism down, then there's certain things that I can't eat, or I can't just go back to eating like I was before. Just like when I ate that pizza, I'm having adverse effects now because I decided to do something different than what my body is used to. Okay, so when she stopped eating, she might have a community in there, but those factories that the rest of us have, because we process food, she don't have those factories. And so, if she was to go and eat and put something in her mouth, she's going to have issues. Yeah, she's going to get sick. She's going to have some pain. By the way, another reason why I chose to fast and to fast in the way that I do is because when you fast, you have fewer illnesses like what I'm getting when I eat things I'm not supposed to. That's part of it. But you have fewer illnesses. You don't get sick as often. And a lot of the things that's not understood is that the illnesses come from the foods that we put in our mouth. 75% of the ailments that we have comes from what we're eating. All right. So we want to be cognizant of what we're putting in our mouth. Learning food combining works wonders. Absolutely. Thank you, Jessica. Fruits usually break down in 30 minutes. Thank you, Jessica. Uh, Hold on. By the way, this is a test. Uh, One second. I have one of my new team members working with me on this, so just making sure we are good over here. But my TikTok people, what happened to my TikTok? Okay, so let me continue on with this now so that we can get into how we advance our fasting stage. Okay, so now we're understanding that you've got this community within you, you've got this whole network of, factories that are working within you to break things down and, turn things into whatever they need to be turned into. Okay, so now we're understanding that. Let's get into how we have to what we do in order to get our fasting to the point where we want it to be. Now, I first of all want to make sure that you take your time to go and do your own research on the effects of fasting and what it can do for you. When you do your research, you should find a lot of wonderful things. All right. Let me say this about what I found about fasting and how it helps me and what I've seen myself. Um, we get these gray hairs. Y'all know how we get gray hairs. And gray hairs are basically where there's a hair follicle that's no longer producing melanin. All right. That's all it is. It's a hair follicle that, for whatever reason, because of age, it has aged, and now it is no longer producing hair follicles or melanin. There's a hair follicle that's no longer producing melanin. All right, and so what's supposed to happen is that when you fast, or your body is supposed to find those hair follicles and remove the old ones and replace it with a new one. Now, I personally see it, especially when I do, so I'll do a 48-hour fast, so I do two 48 hours fast, then a 72-hour fast at the end of the week. I personally see a difference. When I fast, you can see that I'll see that I have fewer grays, like they'll disappear, especially when I go into the 72 hour. So I look forward to moving into a longer fasting period, and I'll see that's just what I see. The body is working and doing all kind of other things, allowing me to be more active or what have you. But from the visual, what I see right away is I'll see grays disappear. So I remember, like, before, because I been doing the 3 days a week fast for a couple of months, because it took some discipline to go to that 72-hour one. And so once I moved into that, I could really see a change. I had always been fasting, like I said, for 10 years I've been fasting, and I could see a difference in certain things. But once I went to that 72 hours every week, I see a big difference. Okay. All right. So let me say this also. You have to be cognizant of making sure that you get all of the right minerals and nutrients that you're supposed to get. If it means taking vitamins or what have you, do that. If it means, eating certain foods, do that. All right. If you're going to fast, be cognizant of that. What you're supposed to have, what you need. Be cognizant of your nails, your hair, your skin. Be cognizant of how your body is responding to it. All right. So I just want to make sure I say that before we go into this. Now, For me, I used to eat. I told you I did the carnivore diet, and I'd eat 5 times a day, 5 times a day, and then I finally came off of that, and then I started doing a different. I went into I was more of a fruitarian, and then I came back off of the fruit and started eating more salads. Now, what I had to go from eating 3 times a day to where I ate twice a day. Now, even before that, let me go back into something. I need to go into something because there's some other issues, and this is called discipline, that we have to overcome before we even go into fasting, and that deals with the carbs situation. All right. Now, one of the things that I did learn even before I did the carnivore diet is that anything white, if it's white, I wanted to avoid it. Potato chips, sugar, salt, mashed potatoes, rice, French fries, Doritos, Coca-Cola, ice cream, cake, candy, all of that. All right. And it took some time to move that stuff out of my diet. It took time. So first, before we even get into that, what we want to do is start becoming honest about what we're eating and the things that we know our body does not appreciate. We got to be honest about it, because some of us don't want to be honest. Some people, they're like, and you can look at them and you know that they lack some discipline. You can look at them and know that. But they'll say, I don't eat that bad. I don't eat that bad. But then when you start telling them to write down what they ate or just list it out. I used to do this with my dad. My dad, he had high blood pressure. He had all kinds of stuff. And it's like, Dad, you're not taking the medications you need. If you're not going to eat right, then you need to at least take the medications. Well, no, I'm going to eat right. And I said, okay, what you eat today? He go, I had some more chicken. He has fried chicken. Now, here's the thing. He had bad eating habits. And he wasn't even willing to be honest about the stuff that he was eating. And eventually it took him out. It took him out. Same thing with my mother. How they were eating, it took them out. And they weren't big people, but their eating habits. Because my dad ate a lot of fried fish and just whatever. And it's like, Dad, the doctor is getting on your case. And if you're saying you're going to eat right, then eat right. But if you're not going to eat right, then take the medication. He wouldn't do either. Okay. So you got to become disciplined and honest in what you're eating that you know your body does not appreciate. Okay. Your community, your metabolism community does not appreciate it. Stop being disrespectful. All right. So now, all those things that I just named, if it's white or if it's sugary or anything like that, the candies, all of that, the drinks, you got to pull back on it. So I get it. It's a gradual thing. I'm not telling you to go cold turkey. What I am saying is list all the things that you're eating throughout the week. Milk, sugar, bread, any of that, list it. Rice, noodles, pasta, list it out. Then what you want to do is make a conscious effort that, okay, this week I'm going to cut out 2 of those things. I'm just going to cut out 2. I don't need to cut out everything, but if I had to choose 2 that I'm going to cut out, I'm going to choose 2. And I'm going to cut those 2 things out. All right. And so then once you do that, you go through that week after you've cut those 2 things out, and you be disciplined, at least just for those 2 things, and let that roll over into the next week. Okay. And you feel good because you cut, okay, I know that wasn't good for me to be eating. I'm going to cut those 2 things out. Roll into the next week. Cut another thing out. Another one of those 10 things that's probably on your list that you eat that you know is not good for you. You got Cokes in your refrigerator. And by the way, if you know it's not good for you, don't buy it. See, I know some of y'all have, people you live with, family members, whatever, and they bringing stuff into the house and you buying stuff for them. One of the things I do in my house is if I know it's not good for me, it's not coming through that door. If it's not good for me, it's not coming through the door. So that would just be my suggestion. Don't bring it in the house if you know it's not going in your mouth. Don't bring it in the house if you know it shouldn't go in your mouth. Okay. So start learning to cut things. This is where you're disciplined. Let me say this to you, and I've said this in previous sessions, okay? One of the biggest issues I see with people is a lack of discipline. When I see somebody who's, plus size, if you will, then I see a discipline issue, a lack of discipline. So all of us have that. Well, we gotta, first of all, we've been told to eat these foods, and food is an addiction. It's a drug. Sugar, as a matter of fact, is a drug more potent than cocaine. They don't tell you that, but they want to put it in everything. They want to put sugar in everything. They want to put it in. When I was in South America, I could get some English peas because I used to love me some English peas, and and just eat them. I eat the English peas by themselves, no sugar in them, none of that. But I come up here to North America, I can't find English peas nowhere without sugar. I'm looking on the back of the pack. We got 5 grams of sugar. They call them sweet peas up here. I don't need them to be sweet. I just need them to be natural. That's what I need. No, at any rate, they put sugar in everything because it's a drug, more addictive than cocaine. Okay, so you want to cut that out of your diet as much as possible. All right, so we got this. You're learning to be disciplined about what you're putting in your mouth by starting to cut these whites. Unless if you're on that carnivore diet, the only thing white you're supposed to be eating is white meat. That's it. We talking about milk and sugar and cream and dairy and this and cheese and potato chips. Cut it out. All right. Start to phase that stuff out of your diet. Then you're going to start to learn, what your body responds to. By the way, let me say this too. Once again, this is a serious thing now, because once you start cleansing your system of this stuff, you can't just go back, because you're going to have ailments, kind of like what I'm feeling right now because I decided to have some pizza on Sunday. Because when you go back, your body is now got to process garbage that is not used to processing. So you got to be very cognizant of the fact that once you start this, you can't go back. I had this guy who I used to talk to. His whole thing, he was the guru of the foods, the natural foods guru. And he'd always say, whenever he sees a problem in somebody, he's like, oh, you need to change your diet. Oh, the diet is the problem. Oh, that child is acting up over there. Yeah, they need to change their diet. So I remember I was talking to him. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm changing my diet. I'm ready to I took all this stuff out of my diet. He was like, well, I ain't going that far. Because he said, if you take all of the garbage out of your diet, then you're going to have a problem digesting the garbage. If you stop eating the garbage, you can't digest the garbage. All right? And so I'm saying that to say, once you start this, you need to be cognizant. You can't just jump up and be like, okay, I'm going back to McDonald's, or you're going to be on the floor in pain. All right? You're not going to be able to go back to that without having some issues. Okay, so I want to preface that. Okay, once you've gotten your discipline and you start to phase these things out, all right, if you're eating 3 times a day, work on cutting back to twice a day, all right? Twice a day where you're eating. Once you get comfortable with that for a couple of months, 6 months, and you comfortable, okay, I haven't had, because see, you're going to be hungry. You're going to be hungry. And so, but you got to get to the point where it doesn't faze you to only eat twice a day. And you're comfortable with it. And the things that you're eating, you know your body appreciates. All right. Yeah, Elle says it's like someone is on drugs. It is someone who's on drugs. Food is a drug. It is a drug. And no, you don't need it like what we have been taught. As I talked to you, there are people. There's just one woman who I know that was interviewed, but there are people who are able to live without eating. We have just been taught. You've been raised to eat 3-4 times a day, and then they put it in your head, and then you see it on TV all the time. It's a drug. Now you got to, if you're serious, I'm talking to people who are serious. I'm not talking to people who just like, I like my McDonald's and my weight. Go ahead, eat it. I buy it for you. As a matter of fact, dinner's on me. All right, it's all good. But for those of y'all who are serious about your health and you're wanting longevity of life and you want to make sure that your longevity of life is in good health, let's talk about it, okay? You get down to 2 times a day. And you've done that for several months and you're comfortable with that, all right? And then you want to go to, at least you start to build it up where one day out of the week you do once a day, you eat once a day, all right? Also keeping in mind that you're getting the nutrients that you need. So one day you're eating twice a day, you're used to that. One day out of the week, just do 1 time a day, 1 time for that day. You just eat once that day, and then that's that. All right. And again, this takes years. You don't just do it overnight. And for people who feel like, well, I'm going to just stop eating for 20 days, I don't advise that. And I'm going to tell you why. Because this is a lifestyle change. This is not just, well, I just want to get skinny and I just want to look good. And I want to. No. This is you changing your life such that it is just a natural way of being. It doesn't bother you. It doesn't faze you. All right. So this shouldn't be something you just go and then you're trying to lose weight or what have you. No, you're changing your lifestyle. And because if you are putting trash into your body, what do you expect out of it? So then it's not okay when you just say, I'm going to stop eating for 20 days and then you go back to eating trash and garbage. What kind of results are you expecting? You look good for a day or two and then you balloon back up to whatever, and your body, your metabolism community, imagine what you're doing to it. No, you're training your community, and you do that gradually. All right, I haven't seen anybody who does that whole, well, I'm gonna do it 20 days. I haven't seen anybody who does that and it really works for them. I haven't seen it. But when they gain a discipline and they start making it a part of their life, oh, they look good. I know some people who went through that. They look great. So you've gotten yourself to the point where 2 days, you're eating twice a day throughout the week, and then one of those days out of the week, you're eating once a day. And then when you feel comfortable and you kept that up for however many months, then you do 2 days out of the week where you eat once a day. All right. So for me, I had to make it gradual. And I kept in mind what my goal is. I knew it was going to take me years to get to where I am. And I'm still not fully where I'm going. But right now, I'll eat on Tuesday. So that'll be a 48-hour fast. And then I'll eat on Thursday. That's another 48 hours. And then I'll eat on Sunday. And that's my 72 hours. And so as I go on, then I'll build up. It'll get to a point where I'm like 2 days a week I'm eating. And then eventually I can do even more. But it needs to be a situation where, again, I'm comfortable. I have to, I get to the point where it's okay, I can do a little bit more, and then I increase it. I increase my fasting time. But you got to be comfortable in whatever you're doing as far as for yourself, and you've got to be disciplined and very seriously committed to it. Don't just do this because I heard somebody else. No, do it because you really want to have a longevity of life and a healthy life. That's why you do it, not for anything else. All right, I want y'all to know I love you. Thank you, Elle. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Genesis, and all my people on TikTok that saw me. I want you to know I appreciate you. I love you. I thank you. This is a test. I hope you passed the test. All right, I want y'all to know we're going to be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, I got a fun, hopefully, session. I don't know if it's that fun. This is about what's going on in the community with the gold. We're going to talk about the gold tomorrow, okay? So we're getting into some law and what really happened in the history of this country. I hope I see you tomorrow. I want y'all to know I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Elle. Thank you, everybody. Okay, we're going to be out. I'm out. Bye-bye. Hit it. Hit it, sisters.